परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। I welcome everybody who has come to Jai Durga temple in person as well as who are going to listen to this online and who have joined over here on the live telecast also. We had last two sessions where we were unable to continue with our lectures on Srimad Bhagavad Gita because there were so many pujas over here due to the Mahashivratri. So we had a kind of a little recap to be done before we continue with the Pravachan. So just to recap, what we are thinking is about Srimad Bhagavad Gita and its application in everyday's life. We are supposed to be, we have got a great scripture with us, but if we do not understand it and we do not decipher it, because it is in Sanskrit language and we do not understand the Sanskrit language because of the present day education system, we are totally unaware, we are oblivion to whatever great thoughts are given over there and how we can apply it in our life. And that's the whole purpose of putting this pravachans in a sequence for studying of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We do lots of pujas, we do lots of prayers, but we have to also see that how those prayers are applicable in our present and future time with us as well as our next generation. And that's the whole purpose of doing this Srimad Bhagavad Gita Pravachan. So let us continue on our sloka 11 of chapter 2. Chapter 2 is, first chapter was Arjun Vishad Yoga and second chapter is Sankhya Yoga. So the situation is that Arjun is very unhappy. He thinks that he should not be killing his teeth and kin, his relatives, his friends, his guru, his grandfathers and all those people in the battlefield of the Kurukshetra. And he's telling that if they are going to die, what will happen? And I don't want to live and I don't want to enjoy the kingdom without them because they are going to die. And the God is answering with the 11th sloka, which is in the Sankhya Yoga of Gita, second chapter. So I will chant the sloka first and then we will do the anvay of it and we will understand. We already took a part of it last time, around 15 days ago, but we will try to recap on that also. So we will go further. So I will chant the 11th sloka. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Ashocyananvashocastvam pragnavadanscha bhasase gatasuna gatasuncha nanushocanti pandita. Sri Bhagavan, the God is telling, Ashocyana Vashocastvam, the things which are not supposed to be worthy of grief. Ashocyana means not worthy of grief and not worthy of mourning. We should not be mourning, we should not be having a grief on something which you are telling as a pragna vadanscha bhasase. The wise man has told that you should not be having a grief and you should not mourn over the things which are not worthy. What is the not worthy thing? Gata suna, gata suncha, nanu shochanti pandita. Gata means gone. Gata asuna means dead. One which is gone, which has died. And agata asuna means living. Pandita means the wise people. The wise people do not lament over, anushochanti, do not lament over the things which are gone. That is the quality, that is the understanding of a wise person. That is the meaning of this sloka. So, the Supreme Lord said that while you speak the words of wisdom, it looks like pragna vadanscha bhasase, you are mourning for what which is not worthy of grief. The wise people do not lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Wise people don't lament. So what does it mean? What does it say? Should we not lament if we lose something in our life, if we have bad experiences in our life? Should we not think about it? Should we not retrospect it? Should we not take experience, the example of it? Should we not, remember it for our future references? We must, definitely. God is not telling us not to do it. God is not telling us not to remember. God is telling us not to lament on it. Important part is the lament. So what is the effect of lamenting on the past? What will be the impact on our life? Number one, anything which we try to lament, it leaves the soreness in the heart. It leaves the soreness in the heart of a person. Past bad experiences keeps giving grief in present. So when we have got a bad experience in our life and we keep on grieving on it, we waste the present time as well as the planning for the future happiness. That is the first negative impact of the lamenting. The lamenting is going to impact us by wasting our present time and impacting our future happiness, because our mind is set, our mind is busy, a mind is thinking only about the things which has happened in the past. So, and it leaves the soreness in the heart, especially with the unhappy experiences. Happy experiences also are same thing. If we keep on telling, nowadays we see the people who are keep on telling, oh, we had a great past, India was a great country, we had a great Vedic Sanskriti and all that. Well, we can keep on talking about it, we can say great things about it, and it was great, there is no doubt about it. But if we just keep talking on it, and if we do not react on it, if we do not apply it in the present life, if we do not understand it in a proper way, there will be no application. There will be no application of the great history of our ancestors in our present life. So lamenting does not mean only the bad experiences. Lamenting means anything which we are thinking about the past and just keep on thinking about it rather than looking at the future and applying those things for the future. We should not be lamenting. That is what it means over here. Especially the bad experiences, people keep on lamenting for years together, and their future behavior is also impacted by the same lamenting. Another part is that we cannot undo the past. When we know that we cannot undo the past, there is no point to think about it. There is no point in wasting the capacity of our mind in those things. So in any way, lamenting is not going to change the past, and that is why there is no point in lamenting and spending our lifetime over the things which we had experienced in the past. So here the God is telling about lamenting over living and dead, because Arjun is busy. Arjun is thinking about what will happen if my relatives are going to die. That is what Arjun is thinking. So God is explaining about the living and dead. The wise man does not waste time in lamenting over the dead. It does not allow the residual effect of the past on present and future course of life. So the question here arises that should we not grieve over the loss of our relatives? Should we not grieve on loss of our friends and our belongings? Does our feelings and love not make us sad with their loss? Hence the God will explain further. Because whatever is gone and whatever is living, remember, God is telling both. Anything which is living as well as anything which is dead. Nanu Shochanti Pandita. Agata and Gata both. Gata Suna is dead and Agata Suna is living. So does God is even telling us that we should not be happy for whatever is in the present? We should not enjoy the fruits. We should not enjoy the resources which we have earned in our present life. What does the God wants to say here? So, regarding the dead and living, God is explaining in the further slokas. So we will look at that sloka. And these two slokas, sloka 12 and 13, are to be taken together because they are kind of, it's the same message told in two sentences. That is why we will take both of them together. So the 12th sloka is, and 12th and 13th both I am going to chant now. नत्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपः न चैव न भविष्याम सर्वे वयमतः परम्. Then the 13th sloka. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Here, let us first understand what the anvay of the sloka. What does it mean? So, natve vaham jatu nasam. Jatu means any time. Natve vaham, neither you nor me at any time. Nasam. Asam means existence. Neither you nor me were in existence before. Natvam neme janadipa. It was never a situation, there was never a time when you and I did not exist, nor all these kings. Janadipa means king. Natvam neme janadipa. Nachaiva na bhavishyama. And also in the future, it will not be cease of existence of you, me, and all these kings. Sarve vaya matah param. Sarve vayam, all of us, now and afterwards. Param means after, atah means now. So there will never be a situation when never be a situation where neither me, you, and all these kings were not existing and will not exist. That means the continuity, the existence will always be there. That is the first part of the 12th, sloka. So it is telling that there is never a situation when you and I were not there, and there will never be a situation where you and I will not be there. In future as well as in past, we are always there. We were in past, we are in present, and we will be in future. What does it mean? Well, this is looking like a complex thing. So the next sloka, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Dehino means embodied. Anything which is embodied is going to perish. Anything which is created, anything which is manufactured, anything which is developed is going to die, is going to change, is going to be modified, will become obsolete. It will be useless after some time. People will not be using it. So, just as the embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth, kaumaram, childhood, yauvanam, young people, jara, old people. Just as the embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth and to the old age, similarly, at any time, at the time of death, the soul passes to another body, and the wise does not delude by this. That is the meaning. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. Dhira, the wise people, the people who has got a stable mind, will never be moved, will never be muhyati, na muhyati, are not deluded. By what? By the transformation of a dehi, means the embodied, from kaumaram to yauvanam and yauvanam to jara, from the childhood to youth and youth to old age. And then tatha dehantara prapti, dehantaram means, deha antara means another body. Once the body has died, the body has perished, the old person has died, or even young people die sometimes. So once the body is died, the dehino means the one who is residing inside. The dehina, the embodied one who is in the embodied, who is in the dehe. Dehino smin yatha dehe. One, the soul which is embodied in the body, will move to the dehantara prapti, means it will move to another body. So, when there is a thing which is continuously existing, and the function, the quality, the reality of any deha is to perish, there is no point in lamenting on it, because it is the fact that anything which is dehe, means dehinosmin yatha dehe, which is created, is going to die. So God is explaining the destruction of perishable body and continuity of life within. This is the meaning of it. There is a continuity of life within, from one body to the other body, and the destruction of the perishable body. So that is why God is telling not to lament on it. Something which is anyway going to die, something which is anyway going to go, there is no point in either having a grief or the lust for that item. So here the question, very interesting part is, God is telling that we are two. There is something within and the body part. So there are actually three things within. One is, if we see the soul as one part, in the body there are again two parts. One is the material body, which means actually the minerals, the chemicals, the metals, the liquids which are made, which created, which our body is made of. So that is the physical body. The physical body is for the sensing of and connection to the outside world, which is outside the body, and that is what the physical body is. Then there is a mental body. The mental body is one who thinks that it is I, it is me, and the mental body gets the senses from the outside world and understands that this is me. That is called as a man or mind. So there are two parts in it, but both of them are going to die. The experiences which we have keeps in a memory, but eventually we even lose this memory. So it talks about two parts, but what happens that as a normal people, as general people, we think that we are one. What I am is my body and me and my feelings, my experiences, my wishes, my aspirations, everything is me. That is what we think, and we think ourselves as one, and that is a delusion. So God is talking about we are composed of two different entities. It talks about difference between the body and the soul. So let us see the relationship of body and the soul. What is the relationship of body and the soul? Knowledge and experiences from the world we live are gained through our senses. And these senses are used as a means of contacting the world. And the body grows through the time and eventually perishes. These senses are also used to enjoy and to experience the world. So senses are doing two things. One, it is trying to understand the outside world, and also it is trying to get the experiences and the happiness or sorrow through the experiences given to my body mind, which is my psychological body, which I think I am. So what we use to feel, experience and enjoy is outside it's the outside body. We call if the world, and we try to keep it in comfort throughout the life. We always try to see that we keep our outside body, means our material body as well as our mind body, in a happy condition. That is the what we spend our time, and whatever we feel and experience and enjoy through that body is the work which we are doing all through the life. All through the life we try to make sure that that body is happy and it is in comfort and it is maintained well. That is what we try to do all through the life. But who feels and gets this experience, who remembers it is good and bad, that is a mind body. Now that experience may be preferable or inconvenient. So let us first of all try to understand how these two items are different in our body. So let us take example of a simple thing is who I am, is generally people always give that example. So when I see, suppose I am given an injection in my, if I am going to a dentist and I'm having a kind of a dental work to be done, the doctor gives an injection over there. And then doctor is asking us before putting the incision or whatever that, oh, do you feel it? Do you feel pain? And we say, no, I don't feel the pain. So who is that I? If the senses are working and if the senses may not work, like a temporary condition of an injection, that means the organs are still there, but the senses have stopped. The senses have stopped giving the information back to my body-mind. So that is important to understand that these two are also different. And then the third part is there. So let us take an example. We always say that this is my hand, this is my car, this is my house, this is my ball pen. When we say pen, when we say house, it is mine. So when we say mine, that means it is a different thing. If I say that this is my car, that means I am not the car. Car is outside, it is a different entity than me. And that is why we say this is my car. In the same way, we say this is my hand. That means that hand is not me. The hand is different and me within is different. And this has to be understood as a very fundamental thing, that what we are is not our body or not our belongings. This is extremely important to understand. Because once we understand it, we will give the priority to which one to be given in our life and how should we work and react in the life. The priority has to be set very clearly. If the body is perishable, can we give priority to it? That is a question. There is someone inside who is using our body to experience and enjoy through the senses and uses it as wanted. Now let us talk about the continuity of life, what God is telling. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe and dehantara prapti. These two words. That means we get another body also. That is what God is telling. So there is something which is a discontinued item and changing, and there is something which is a continuously moving item, continuously existing item. These two items are there. So let us think about it, that how it comes, how the whole structure is there. So let us start with the birth. Let us start with our birth. Did we decide and work to make our body? Did we decide what color I should be? Did we decide where I will be born? Did we decide what kind of a body structure I will have? Did we decide it? Did we make it? Just like we are making a house and we live in it, we say that this is my house. Do we or did we anytime decided that this is going to be my parents and we then came to that? Is it that way? Did we make our body? But we came into existence. We are alive now, we know that. We came into existence. That means that there is something which is put inside the body. The body is made out of material. The material may be developed and given by our parents and mostly mother. She is the person, and in every case, it's not only human, it's even in animals, in birds. So she is a person or animal who is giving the nourishment, the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals, the metals, calcium, everything to make our bone, to make our skin, to make our hairs, to make all the organs inside. But how did we came into existence? Where did we come from is a question. The life within is coming from where? And did we decide it? Who are we? Are we the life? When we say I, that means I is that life? That is a question. We did not construct our body, so how did we come in existence? Another part is we did not put ourselves in the body. Like, suppose there is a toy and we put a battery in it. The battery eventually runs away, the energy stops and the toy stops. Sometimes the toy is used so much time that the toy is finally broken and the toy perishes. It goes into the recycle and it goes into again separated with the metal and materials within. That is what happens for a toy. So it's the energy which is within the toy through the battery is running. It's running the toy. When the energy is gone, the battery is dead. And same for the human being. When the inside energy leaves the body, even if it is the same body, it is dead. It is merely a mixture of chemicals and there is no energy. There are still metals and minerals in it, but it is not going to work. It cannot react, it cannot sense, it cannot feel. That is what it is. It is dead. So we move in and out of a given body. And we will see further that who makes us move. Let us go further on this. Now let us take the case of science. Let us think about the scientific part. And the science is telling there is a law of conservation of energy. Anything which is having a status and energy in it, the energy gets converted. There is no destruction of material. It is only the physical and chemical change of any material. But there is no destruction. If the wood is burning, the wood will turn into ashes. Some part of the wood and the vapor barrier, vapor in the wood will go in the smoke. Some of the burning element like oils and everything in the wood will burn out and again get converted into smoke. But there is no complete destruction. There is always an existence. That is what the conservation of energy and the law of science is telling us. So once the energy is low or gone, the same toy does not work properly. But we know that energy within the battery was consumed by the movement, by the sound in the toy. So even though we say that the battery energy is gone, there is no energy in the battery, there is no life in the toy, actually that part of that energy is converted into mechanical movements or sound energy. There is no loss of that energy even though the battery is drained. So destruction of physical shapes and indestructible energy is seen everywhere. The toy will go, it will be replaced, the toy will be recycled, but the energy which was consumed to run the toy is not destructed. That energy is converted into some other form. And this is what we are learning here in this sloka, that the energy within is never ceased to exist before and never going to cease to exist in the future. Just like the energy in the battery and the toy, the energy or the soul within will keep on moving from one deha to other deha. And the physical part of the body will keep perishing and we will get new body every time. This is where it is perfectly jiving with the law of rebirth, with the conservation of energy. It is perfectly matching with the law which is given by the science as the principle of rebirth. Principle of rebirth says that you are always born into a new body. You are always going into another form of life. Your body will change, but your soul will always be in existence. And that is why there is a law of rebirth. At the end of the life, it will go back in the nature and it will come back again. And it is applicable to every creature. Sometimes we see that one animal is eating the other animal. In that case also, the flesh, the blood and everything in that body of the killed animal, say for example a lion is killing a deer. In that case, the material part, which is again same thing, chemicals and minerals and proteins and everything, will be going into the body of the lion. And then again, that lion will die eventually and that protein and everything will go back into the earth. That means that there is no destruction. There is only a conversion of form. A new body is formed from the... So there is a clear-cut distinction here of the material world and the energy or the soul world. The material world also does not get destroyed, but it keeps changing the form. It keeps changing its shape and the qualities in it. But it still stays there. But it keeps changing. On the second side, there is a soul which does not change. It is in the form of energy or whatever we want to identify at this moment when we are studying only the second chapter of Gita. Whatever we call it or call it as a soul or energy, that is a second part. So there is a material world and then there is a energy or soul world. These two when combined together we become we, what we call as I. And God is trying to explain here very clearly that when it is I, that I is going to change from one body to the other body, and that is why you should not be lamenting on it. That is what God wants to say there. So even a perished body will help, like the vulture, they eat dead and rotten meat. So even a perished body is converted and nourished into another body, but eventually that is going into a recycling of the body. So material world is one side, one part, and the soul and the energy part is the second side. So there are two universes, physical and energy side. And here the word Dehantara Prapti is very important. And that is why we have to see that the law of rebirth and law of conservation of energy is exactly jiving. Semitic religions or Abrahamic religions do not recognize this. They do not believe in rebirth. There is a concept of day of judgment. But unfortunately, it does not jive with the law of science, what it is telling today as a conservation of energy. When we say there is no rebirth, it does not explain where and how and why we are born and where we have come from. How we are a new animal or creature created. And from where this new creature has come, the energy part has come into life. And what will happen to the perished body creature and what will happen to them. So it's not jiving with the conservation of energy, the law of conservation of energy. Another part is we always see a rule, a harmony in the nature, the movement of the sun and the planets, the seasons are changing. And similarly, which rules and procedures will be applied for the new birth? Who will decide and control it? Who will decide what is going to happen to that, the newborn? How that newborn is going to behave and live the life? There has to be a rule and harmony. It seems more predictable and understandable in case of animals, because a bird will always build a nest. A lion will never build a nest. They are pre-programmed. But they are still following that rule. They are still following that rule which is identified in the nature. So, the law of rebirth and the existence of soul is perfectly a scientific truth. This is very important conclusion which comes from this. That the law of rebirth and the existence of the soul as a separate entity than only the body as the entity, as a living being, is perfectly jiving with the scientific law of conservation of energy. And that is why the law of rebirth is considered as a scientific proof. It is a scientific thing. There is definitely a faith part in it. We definitely believe in it. But there is also a way to prove that it is a scientific way. It is a scientifically proven thing. We can prove it. So we'll go to the next sloka here. God is explaining further of our existence and how we are. So I will chant the 14th sloka of second chapter. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama paino nitya stansti diksha svabharata. I'll do the anvay of it. Matra sparshaha means contact of the senses with the sense object. Anything which comes in contact with our senses and which gives a feeling or understanding about that object is through our senses, the contact, it is through the contact. And remember, that contact may be physical, may not be physical. Even a imaginary contact will also create the same experience which a physical contact will. And Kaunteya means Arjun. Kaunteya is the name of the Arjun, the son of Kunti. Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhada. So what kind of a feeling and experience we get? Shita. Shita means winter, cold. And Ushna means summer, hot, burning. And both of these experiences, either it is cold or hot, it's not in physical term, but it is in the sense term. Whatever bad or good experience, which gives us what? Sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress. If it is convenient and as per expectation, then it is happy. If the experience is as per the expectation, it is happiness. If the experience is not required and not as per the expectation, it is distress. So any experience, Shita or Ushna, hot or cold, in English we say let it blow hot or cold. I am going to go on the job. That means that in any condition. So whatever is the condition is coming, is either giving us a sukha or a dukkha. It is giving us either a happiness or a distress. Agama paino nitya. Agama paino. Agama means coming and apayina means going. Nitya means every time. Anitya means not permanent. So it is telling that these experiences will come and go and they are not permanent. And stans titikshasva. Titiksha means tolerate. It is telling that one who tolerate means who be stable, who experience and try to tolerate on it. That we have to understand. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the sense object gives rise to our perceptions of happiness and distress. But these are not permanent and they come and go like winter and summer. So one must learn to tolerate without being disturbed. Stantitiksha. Toleration means what? You should not be getting disturbed with anything which is blowing hot and cold. That is what it means. So here it is the experiences explained. It is explaining the relationship between object and the senses. The connection with the object and other people gives us a feeling. And this feeling dies its due course and the memory of the experience is kept in the mind. That is the first step happens. Suppose for example, there is a hot object and I by chance turn the hot object and I feel that it is hot and I feel if I keep my hand touching it, it will burn. It will burn my skin. So I immediately remove my hand. When I remove my hand, the experience of the heat on my finger is stopped. My finger does not burn anymore. My finger automatically feels the blood will circulate through it and my finger will say, okay, no, it is not hot. The experience, the sensing, the feeling on the organ will immediately go the moment the touch with the touch of the object with the sense is disconnected. But in the mind, in my brain, in my mind, in my brain, the memory of that hot will remain. So if if in future, if there is similar object is coming in front of me, in that case, my mind will remind me that, aha, this may be hot, just tap it a little and confirm that it is not hot to that extent. So the connection between object and sense is only a temporary thing. But the memory of that experience is lasting for a longer time. That is the first step, the sequence in thing. We are thinking about the sequence, the process of sensing. So this is the first step, the connection between the object and the other people.
through our senses. But we see that the world is continuously changing. There are always new experiences and the new feelings are created continuously. And we do not experience the same feeling even with the same senses. Let us take an example. Okay, that when I was a kid, I cannot eat hot food, spicy food. It burns my tongue, it burns my lip, and as a child, I don't like that. Now that is the experience given to me by my senses, by my tongue. When I grow older, the capacity, the tolerance, and the sensitivity of my tongue has eventually changed. So the same food I don't find that hot and spicy, and I even eat it and I enjoy it. The food which I used to dislike during my childhood, I do not dislike it now as a youth or an older person, and I do not find difficulty in eating it, and I actually enjoy it. In other words, our senses keeps on changing with the so what happens is that with the same object, what we were finding unhappy before, now we are finding happiness in it. And same in the vice versa. The things which we were finding happy in the childhood, we are not finding happiness as a youth. Let us take another example. Suppose all the kids play with the marbles and toys and the Barbie doll and all that. Suppose a young man is told that, okay, you are joining a job, you are in an engineering, and we will give you salary, but we will give you salary in the form of marbles. So we will give you, say, 5,000 marbles as a salary. That man will say, what is this nonsense? I don't want marbles. But the employer will say, but you liked my marbles when you were a 5-year-old boy. You loved marbles. You wanted to have lots of marbles. So I am giving you marbles as a salary. The man will not agree because he doesn't want marble anymore. Same with the toys. You tell a woman that we are going to give you a Barbie doll. They will not agree as a salary. They don't want it. That what does it mean? These two experiences clearly say that the choices of our senses are changing. Even though it is the same object and the same sense object with our senses like hand, tongue, even though the contact is still same, the feeling is keep on changing. The feeling keeps changing. The happiness and sorrow from the experiences keep on changing. It keeps changing. So, suppose we are finding happiness today in something and we say, I will have a lot of it. It is definite that it is not going to give us happiness when in future. Yeah? You give a Lamborghini to a young man, he will be happy. But you give a Lamborghini to a 95-year-old man and tell him that you drive it, he will not be happy, he can't drive it. So even though the object is same, the contact with the object is with the same sense with us, the amount of happiness and the feeling of happiness or sorrow keeps on changing. Going by this rule, that means that the things which are making us happy today may not make us happy tomorrow. And the things which are making us unhappy today may make us happy tomorrow. So in that case, that means that doing lamenting on unhappy feelings or sticking on the happy feeling, both are not correct. Both are elusive. We should not be going with something which is changing, but we should be going with something. Going means giving priority. We should be giving priority to something which is continuously in existence. The energy part, the soul part which we talked before in the sloka before. We should give priority to that, and we should make sure that how that is conserved and properly managed rather than the material part and the senses part of it. And that person is a tolerate. That is why the word tolerate is over there. So when anything which is coming as a non-comfortable thing, Shita or Ushna, we should not grieve, or we should not go bonkers. We should not be, going just get it drained into that happiness. We should not. Both has to be handled equally, and that is a person who is titikshava, tolerate person. One who can tolerate, one who can handle, one who can be stable in a happy as well as the sorrowful experiences. That is what God is trying to explain us. Because we are different, we as a person, understand I is a different, which is a continuous existence than the external existence of the body, materials and our senses. I'll go to the 15th sloka, we'll go further on it. So I'll chant it. Yam hina vyatha yante te purusham purusharshaba sama dukkha sukham dhiram somrutattvaya kalpate. God is explaining further. He's trying to make it, because this is a little, it looks like a little complex to us definitely. So God knows about it, that is complex to us to understand. So God is explaining it as further in the next sloka, 15th sloka. Yam hina vyatha yantete. Vyatha yanti, distress. The person who is not affected, na vyathante, na vyatha yantete. Vyatha yanti means distress. One who is not distressed, not affected by happiness or distress, both. It is both here. Purusham Purusharsabha. Purusharsabha is again, God is calling Arjun with that name, Purusharsabha. And so Purusharsabha is a noble man, and Arjun is a noble man. So he is telling Purusha Rishabha. Purusha Rishabha is Purusharsabha. Purusharsabha means a noble man. Who is Arjun here? He is Sama Dukkham Sukham Dhiram. He is equipoised. He is equipoised in, he is Sama. Sama means equipoised in Dukkha and Sukha. And how is equipoised? Dhiram, steadily. Sukham is happiness, Dukkha means distress. In distress and in happiness, a noble person will be equipoised. And when he remains steady in both conditions, he becomes eligible for liberation. So, Amrutattvaya. Amrutattva means liberation. And here we have to understand what is Amrut, what is Mrut and what is Amrut. So let us go by each word. First, here word is Sama, equipoised. A person who is balanced in any situation of Sama, Dukkham and Sukham, in any situation of sorrow and happiness. In both cases, he is steady. He is very steady over there. So, here we will go to see a person is definitely feeling the happiness and sorrow. A person definitely feels. When the experiences are there, a bad and good, a person will feel sorrow. There is nothing wrong in feeling, like sweet and bitter taste, hot and cold on the skin. So a person who is, let us try to get this very clear, that a person or every person experiences the same thing. They both experience, a normal person and a noble person or a wise person, they both experience the same feeling through the senses. But a wise person will be equipoised. A wise person will be stable. A wise person will not be shaking up with the impact of the feeling. So there is a feeling and there is an impact of the feeling on the person. So person who can be stable in any kind of experience is liberated. So what he is liberated from? He is liberated from the reaction of the experience. It is the reaction of the experience which is controlled by a stable person. And the person who cannot control the reaction of the feeling which is experienced either as a good or bad is not a noble person. He is not a stable person. And then we have to also understand the difference between the liberated and jada or lifeless. Yeah. So for example, we take an example of we will take example of three situations, scenario. Suppose there is an injection to be given by the doctor. When the doctor gives the injection to a baby, the baby will cry. Baby will have the pinching in the skin and baby will feel very unhappy and baby will cry. Now as an adult, when we go for injection, we go for some kind of a treatment from the doctor, and doctor tells that, oh, you need an injection to be taken. We take the injection. When we take the injection, we feel the same pain, but we can bear that pain and we do not react as a cry like a baby. That means that we are liberated from the reaction part of it. The pain is same. The pain is same. But how to react is tolerated, is understood, is controlled, is managed as an adult. Now suppose there is an autopsy happening to a dead body. There is an autopsy to be taken. The guy comes and he cuts the body wide open and is doing all the autopsy part. The body doesn't feel. So in that case, the dead body does not even feel. We cannot say that the dead body is stable. The dead body is equipoised, because there is no experience of feeling in it. So these are three different things. One is that we get the feeling and we react to it in a way. Second one is, as an adult, we get a feeling but we know how to handle the reaction of it. And the third part which we talked about the body is that even if there is a same connection of the senses with the object and same processes happen, but we do not feel at all. The dead body doesn't feel it. When the dentist gives an injection, we do not feel any pain. It is jadatva. So we have to remember that God is not telling us to become a jada here. The God is not telling us to embrace the jadatva. It is not the jadatva. It is not the senselessness. It is not a brute way of handling the feelings. It is understanding, experiencing, even enjoying, but not getting into a reactionary mode like a youth getting an injection. That is what God is trying to say us. We have to make it very, very understandable that what is the difference, where the God is trying to make us. Sama dukkha sukham dhiram means what? That God wants to explain to us. So here, it's already time now, we have got only 1 minute here. So what I will try to take a little conclusion here for today's. So what we have understood is understanding the continuity of life as a soul and discontinuity of perishable material body. This is the first thing which we learned today through this sloka. And we also learn and understand the eternity of the change in life and experiences. That is, we also learned. And understanding of the impact on us through the senses and its reaction by us in the actions. That is what we are continuing in the 15th sloka. So I will stop over here on the 15th sloka. We will take a little bit of it next time also. And I wish everybody having a nice weekend, and we will meet again on Saturday, next Saturday, again same time at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11. Till then, I wish all of you a happy time. It's a winter, it's very cold outside here in Toronto. It's almost minus 18. So take care of yourself and be safe. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah.
धराय शिव गंगाधराय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम गंगाधराय शिव गंगाधराय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम जटाधराय शिव जटाधराय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम जटाधराय शिव जटाधराय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम जटाधराय शिव जटाधराय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम जटाधराय शिव जटाधराय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम
ऐगिरिनन्दिनि नन्दित मेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दनुते गिरिवरविन्द्य शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दूर्धरधर्षिणि दूर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दितिसुतरोषिणि दुर्मधशोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते अयि जगदम्ब मदम्ब कदम्ब वनप्रियवासिनि हासरते शिखरि शिरोमिणि तुङ्ग हिमालय शृङ्गनिजालय मध्यगते मधु मधुरे मधुकैटभगन्धिनि कैटभबन्धिनि रासरते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते अयि शतखण्डविखण्डितरुण्डवितुण्डितशुण्डगजाधिपते रिपुगजगण्डविदारणचण्डपराक्रमशुण्डमृगाधिपते निजभुजदण्डनिपातितखण्डविपातितमुण्डभटाधिपते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते ऐरणदूर्मदशत्रुवधोदित दुर्धरनिर्जर शक्तिभृते चतुरविचारधुरीण महाशिव दूतकृत प्रथमाधिपते दुरितदुरीह दुराशय दुर्मति दानवदूत कृतान्तमते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते अयि शरणागत वैरिवधूवर वीरवराभयदायकरे त्रिभुवनमस्तकशूलविरोधि शिरोधि कृतामलशूलकरे दुमिदुमितामरधुन्दुविनादमहोमुखरीकृत तिम्मकरे जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते अयि निज हुंकृत मात्र निराकृत धूम्रविलोचन धूम्रशते समर विशोषित शोणित बीज समुद्भव शोणित बीजलते शिव शिव शुंभ निशुंभ महाहव तर्पित भूत पिशाचरते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते धनुरनुषङ्गरणक्षणसङ्गपरिस्फुरदङ्गनटत्कटके कनकपिशङ्गपृषत्कनिशङ्गरसद्भटशृङ्गहताबटुके कृतचतुरङ्गबलक्षितिरङ्गघटद्बहुरङ्गरटत्पटुके जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरललनाततथेयि तथेयि कृताभिनयोदर नृत्यरते कृतकुकुथः कुकुथो गडदादिकताल कुतूहलगानरते मुदुकटधुक्कुटधिन्धिमितध्वनि धीर्मृदङ्गनिनादरते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय जप्य जये जय शब्दपरस्तुति तत्पर विश्वनुते झन झन झिञ्झिमि झिङ्कृतनूपुर सिञ्जित मोहित भूतपते नटित नटार्ध नटी नटनायक नाटित नाट्य सुगानरते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते अयि सुमनः 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 सुमनोहर कान्तियुते श्रितरजनी रजनी 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 करवक्त्रवृते सुनयनवे भ्रमर 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 भ्रमराधिपते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सहित महाहवमल्लमतल्लिकमल्लिकरल्लकमल्लरते विरचितवल्लिकपल्लिकमल्लिक झिल्लिकभिल्लिकवर्गवृते सितकृतपुल्लसमुल्लसितारुणतल्लजपल्लवसल्ललिते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते अविरलगण्डगलन्मदमेधुरमत्तमतङ्गजराजपते त्रिभुवनभूषण भूतकलानिधि रूपपयोनिधिराजसुते अयि सुदती जनलालसमानस मोहनमन्मथराजसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते कमलदलामलकोमलकान्तिकलाकलितामलभाललते सकलविलासकलानिलयक्रम केलिचलत्कलहंसकुले